Hello students, in the last class, due to some technical problem, I missed to explain in detail about the last concept. So, I repeat that. That is, difference in the work done in reversible and irreversible process. As you know that, in reversible process, the difference in pressure of the gas and pressure outside the cylinder, that is P external, P internal, is very small difference is there, and each and every stage the difference is negligible. So the work done is given by dW is equals to minus P internal into dV. In the irreversible process, there is a large difference between internal pressure and external pressure. The work done will be given by W is equals to P external delta V. For the same change in volume, the work done isothermally reversibly and the work done isothermally but irreversibly are different. We can understand that by this graph. We have this graph. Along x-axis we have volume, along the y-axis we have pressure, volume, work done is there. Here initial volume is V1 and final volume is V2. The gas is going to expand. We have two curves, that is AB is one curve which represents reversible process. CB is another line, another curve which represents the work done in irreversible process. Reversible process, this will be having this type of curve. Smooth curve is obtained in reversible curve because the reversible process will undergo different steps, different stages. The difference between the two stages is negligible. Because of that, it will take a smooth type of curve. Whereas there is a large difference between internal pressure and external pressure during irreversible process. So sudden change in the volume will take place. Reversible process, irreversible process, delta V value is same because final volume is V2, initial volume is V1. The difference delta V is equals to V2 minus V1. So the change in volume is 0. Only here P value is different. Because of that difference in the P value, we have two different types, two different works. Reversible work is a maximum work, whereas irreversible work is a minimum work or not maximum. So here W reversible is always greater than W irreversible. Already I explained the reason also. In W reversible, pressure is the maximum, whereas W irreversible, pressure is not maximum. Next, let us know some specific properties of reversible and irreversible expansion of work. In irreversible expansion, external pressure remain constant. Against some external pressure, the work is going to be done. Because of that, we have P external is constant in irreversible. But in reversible expansion, external pressure has to be decreased continuously. Because of that decrease in external pressure continuously, we have different infinitesimally smaller than internal pressure. Each and every stage there is very small difference in pressure between P external and P internal. Okay, second one. Smooth curve is obtained for an isothermal reversible expansion. During isothermal reversible expansion or reversible process, we have a smooth curve, whereas we are getting a line in case of irreversible process, because external pressure is not constant and the change in pressure occurs in number of finite steps, and each step has very small difference in pressure. Understood? In case of irreversible process, P external is a constant value. Against that constant value there is expansion is there, whereas in case of reversible expansion, many steps, the reversible expansion will takes place in many steps, and each and every step there is very small difference in pressure between P internal and P external. Because of that we are getting a smooth curve. Third one, reversible work of expansion is maximum, because reversible expansion P external has maximum possible value. Similarly, the work done in isothermal reversible compression is minimum. Reversible expansion, maximum work is there, whereas in compression, minimum work is there. Next one, free expansion of an ideal gas is zero. Free expansion nothing but expansion of gas against vacuum. Vacuum nothing but zero pressure. It means that P external is zero, even though delta V value has positive, but P external in vacuum is zero. Because of that we are having work done in vacuum is zero. Next, after this, let us know the next property, that is heat. We have completed internal energy, after that work, and third property, that is heat. You know that heat is a form of energy and it will be exchanged between two bodies whenever the bodies are at different temperature. The body at higher temperature transfer heat energy to the body at lower temperature, and the body at lower temperature receives heat energy from the higher temperature. Heat is denoted by Q. In some other definition we can explain as heat is nothing but the total kinetic energy of the system. Sign convention for heat. If the system absorbs heat energy, then we are mentioning it as positive. If the system loses energy, then we are indicating by negative. So this is sign convention for heat. Units of heat. The unit of heat is joule or calories. The SI unit of heat is joule. The other 1 calorie is nothing but 4.184 joules, and 1 joule is equals to 0.2390 calories. And you know that 1 calorie nothing but amount of heat energy required to rise 1 gram of water to 1 degree Celsius. To raise 1 gram of water to its 1 degree Celsius, we require about 4.184 joules or 1 calorie heat energy. Okay. You already know that internal energy is a state function. It means it depends upon initial state and final state values, and it is independent of the path. But heat and work are not state functions, but they are path functions. It means the amount of work done or amount of heat energy absorbed by the system or work done by the system depends upon the path in which they are going to do that work. So heat and work are path functions. Okay, after this let us know some laws of thermodynamics. In that, first one is zeroth law of thermodynamics. Zeroth law of thermodynamics explains about thermal equilibrium, or it will helpful to understand temperature. What is temperature? We can understand by zeroth law of thermodynamics. Zeroth law of thermodynamics states that if two bodies A and B are in thermal equilibrium with the third body C, then they are in thermal equilibrium with each other. There are three systems, A, B and C. A and C have the same temperature. They are in thermal equilibrium. Thermal equilibrium nothing but both have same temperature. A and C have both same temperature. B and C have same temperature. It means that A, B, C are at same temperature. That is law of equilibrium or zeroth law of thermodynamics. Second one, first law of thermodynamics. First law of thermodynamics. This law explains about the law of conservation of energy. There are many statements are given, but I am taking only important one. First statement states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, although it may be converted from one form to another form. We cannot create energy, we cannot destroy energy. We are going to say that I have created energy. Actually, we are transferred that energy. So, energy cannot be created or cannot be destroyed, but there is change in or transformation from one form of energy to another form. Your water heater converts electrical energy to heat energy. Your iron box convert electrical energy to heat energy. Your bike will convert chemical energy to kinetic energy. In this way, energy we cannot create, only the machines will convert one form of energy to another form. That is first law. Second statement states that the total energy of the universe is constant. Whole universe has a constant energy. Only we are transforming one form of energy to another form. Although it may undergo transformation from one form to another form. There is transformation of energy from one form to another form, but there is no change, or there is no change in the value. It means the total energy of the universe is constant. Third statement states that the energy of an isolated system is constant. Isolated system means the system neither transfer matter nor energy with the surrounding. So, the energy of an isolated system is constant. It means whatever the energy present in the isolated system, that system has a constant energy. So, these are the some statements of first law of thermodynamics. Mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics. It means that how we are going to represent first law of thermodynamics, that is law of conservation of energy. Actually, first law of thermodynamics relates internal energy, heat energy and work done. It relates internal energy, heat energy and work. As you know that the internal energy of the system can be increased by two methods, that is by supplying heat energy to the system, second one by doing work on the system. If we transfer heat energy to the system, there is increase in internal energy of the system. In the second way, we can increase internal energy just by doing work on the system. Okay, let us understand in detail. Let us consider a system. Each and every system has certain amount of internal energy that is taken as U1. Understood? Each and every system has some internal energy. Consider a system and its internal energy is U1. To this system, if we supply Q amount of heat energy, we are supplying Q amount of heat energy to the system. Because of that, there is increase in internal energy. So, increased internal energy can be given by U1 plus Q. U1 is the initial internal energy and Q amount of heat energy we have transferred. Because of that, there is increase in internal energy. So, U1 plus Q is the internal energy of the system. At the same time, if W amount of work is done on the system, because of doing some work, that is W amount of work, again there is increase in internal energy and it is given by U1 plus Q plus W. That is, the internal energy of the system at the final state is equals to U2. U2 is the internal energy in the final state, whereas U1 is the internal energy in the initial state. To that system, we have supplied Q amount of heat energy and W amount of work is done on the system. So, U2 is equals to U1 plus Q plus W. U2 minus U1 means we are bringing this U1 to this side. It becomes U2 minus U1. U2 minus U1 is equals to Q plus W. U2 internal energy in the final state, U1 internal energy in the initial state. So the difference between these two is nothing but change in internal energy, that is delta U. Delta U is equals to Q plus W. Means first law of thermodynamics relates internal energy, heat energy and work. Okay. If the work done is the work of expansion, if we consider whatever the work is here, that work is because of expansion of gas, then W, in place of W we can substitute minus P delta V, where P is pressure, delta V is change in volume, where delta V is change in volume. Then this expression can be written as delta U is equals to Q minus P delta V, or delta U is equals to Q plus P delta V. From the above discussion, we can conclude that Q and W are not state functions, but Q plus W is a state function. Q is not a state function, it is a path function. Q and W are not state function, but Q plus W is a state function. Q, heat energy, it is not a state function, but it is a path function. W, that is work, is not a state function, it is also a path function. But sum of Q plus W is a state function because Q plus W is nothing but change in internal energy. Change in internal energy is a state function, so Q plus W value become a state function. Second conclusion is that internal energy of an ideal gas is a function of temperature. It means internal energy of an ideal gas is a function of temperature. It means that internal energy depends upon temperature. As the temperature increases, there is increase in the internal energy for ideal gas. Hence, for an ideal gas which is undergoing isothermal change in internal energy is zero. Change in internal energy remain constant. There is no change in internal energy. Hence, Q is equals to minus W. That is, heat absorbed by the system is equal to work done by the system. Isothermal, continuously we have to supply heat energy because to maintain a constant temperature. So, as you are maintaining constant temperature, its internal energy remain constant, but you are supplying heat energy. Excess heat energy, whatever you are supplying, that is converted into work. That is work done by the gas. Okay, I think you understood these two concepts. After studying first law of thermodynamics, let us do some problems. First one, express the change in internal energy of a system when no heat is absorbed by the system from surrounding, but work is done on the system. What type of wall does the system have? Express the change in internal energy of a system. Here there are so many problems are there. This is the heading. In that first one, no heat is absorbed by the system from surrounding. It means you are not going to supply heat energy to the system from the surrounding, but work is done on the system, but there is work done. Then what type of wall does it have? It means the system has which type of wall, whether it is an adiabatic wall or diathermic wall. Just I repeat, adiabatic wall does not allow the heat to transfer, whereas diathermic wall allows the heat to transfer. We can also call diathermic wall as conducting wall. Okay. For this, we know that Q is equals to 0 because no heat is absorbed. Amount of heat energy of the system remain constant. We are not supplying heat energy, so Q is 0. But work is done. So the wall is adiabatic wall. Okay. Second problem. No work is done on the system, but Q amount of heat is taken out from the system and given to the surrounding. What type of wall does the system have? No work is done on the system. Work is not going to be done on the system, but Q amount of heat is taken out from the system. Means the system is losing heat energy. When the system is losing heat energy, it means that the wall of the system is conducting or diathermic. W equals to 0, there is no work done, but Q is negative because the system losing heat energy to the surrounding. So when the heat is transferred to the surrounding, the wall must be, wall nothing but here boundary. The wall must be a conducting or diathermic. Let us know the third problem. W amount of work is done by the system and Q amount of heat is supplied to the system. What type of system would it be? W amount of work is done by the system means W value is negative because work is done by the system. Q amount of heat is supplied to the system. Q is positive. So W is negative because work is done by the system. Heat is absorbed. It means in this system we are transferring only heat energy. So this system acts as a closed system. Okay. After this, let us go to the second problem. Calculate the internal energy change in each of the following cases. First one, a system absorbs 15 kilojoules of heat and does 5 kilojoules of work. Here our system is absorbing 15 kilojoules of heat energy. It means Q value is positive and does 5 kg of work, that is W value is negative. Here Q is plus 15 kilojoules because heat is absorbed. W is minus 5 kilojoules because work is done by the system. According to mathematical form of first law of thermodynamics, delta U is equals to Q plus W. Change in internal energy, delta U, Q 15, that is 10 kilojoules. Second problem. 5 kilojoules of work is done on the system and 15 kilojoules of heat is given out of the system. Work is done by the system, done on the system, so W value is positive and Q value is negative. So delta U is equals to Q plus W. In place of Q minus 15, W plus 5. So here it means in first case there is increase in internal energy, that is positive, whereas in second case there is decrease in internal energy of the system. In first case system there is increase in internal energy, whereas in second case there is decrease in internal energy. Okay. After doing some simple problems, let us go to the next one. Calculate the amount of work done in each of the following cases. In each of the following cases, you have to calculate work done. That is, W is equals to P minus P external delta V. By using that formula, we have to calculate. First one, 1 mole of an ideal gas contained in a bulb of 10 liter capacity at 1 bar is allowed to enter into an evacuated bulb of 100 liter capacity. First you understand the problem here. We have 1 mole of ideal gas and it is present in 10 liter vessel. And the pressure is 1 bar. And it is allowed to enter into an evacuated bulb. Evacuated bulb, nothing but vacuum. There is no pressure of 100 liter. Then what is the work done? We have to calculate. Already you know that evacuated, nothing but vacuum. That is work done in vacuum. Work done in vacuum is 0. W is equals to minus P external delta V. But here P external is 0 because it is an evacuated bulb. So W equals to 0. So W value is 0. Work done is 0. Next, second one. 1 mole of a gas is allowed to expand from a volume of 1 liter to a volume of 5 liters against the constant external pressure of 1 bar. Calculate internal energy change, that is delta U, in each case of the following process were carried out adiabatically. Here 1 mole of gas is there, is allowed to expand from a volume 1 liter. Initial volume is 1 liter and final volume is 5 liters against a constant external pressure 1 bar. P external is given. Calculate internal energy change. Delta U value you have to calculate in each case of the process were carried out adiabatically. Okay. So the process is adiabatic. Remember it. Initial volume, that is V1 is 1 liter, V2 is 5 liters. So delta V, change in volume, V2 minus V1, that is 4 minus 1, that is equals to 4 liter. We know P external, that is 1 bar. So work done is equals to minus P external delta V minus 1 into 4 minus 4 bar liter. We know that 1 bar liter equals to 100 joules. There is a relationship between these two. 1 bar liter equals to 100 joules. So W is equals to minus 4 into 100 joules, that is minus 400 joules. Then they asked us to calculate delta U. So delta U is equals to Q plus W according to first law of thermodynamics, mathematical form. Already I told you the process is adiabatic, so Q is 0. In adiabatic process there is no exchange of heat nor matter with the surrounding, so Q is 0. So in place of Q we are substituting 0 and W minus 400 joules. So change in internal energy equals to minus 400 joules. I think you understood. Next, fourth problem. Calculate work done, amount of heat energy and change in internal energy when 0.75 mole of an ideal gas expands isothermally and reversibly. Here the process is isothermal and reversible at 27 degrees Celsius from a volume of 15 liter to 25 liter. For this problem we have to use the expression W is equals to minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1 because it is an isothermal and reversible. Let us do this. N is equals to number of moles equals to 0.75 mole. Temperature, that is 300 Kelvin. They have given 27 degree Celsius. We are converting into Kelvin, so 300 Kelvin. Initial volume is 15 liter and final volume is 25 liter. Hence work is isothermal and reversible, so W is equals to minus 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1. We are substituting all the values. Log 5 by 3 we got here. So by doing this, 2.303, 0.75, 8.314, that is R value, 300, that is temperature, log 5 by 3. Log 5 value we are doing here. Log 5 value 0.6989 and log 3 value 0.4771. Subtraction of these equals to 0.2218. I have done here 0.75 and 300 multiplication. It is 3 by 4, right? 0.75 means 3 by 4. 3 by 4 into 300, that is 225. So by the multiplication of 0.75 and 300 will give 225. So I substituted here, and after doing we are getting this much amount of work done. So the work done in this process is minus 955.5 joules. Second, to calculate Q, delta U is equals to Q plus W. It is an isothermal process, so delta U is 0. Hence Q is equals to minus W. Hence Q, work is done by the system, so there is absorption of heat energy, so Q is equals to plus 955.5 joules. Any doubt here? Just I repeat, it is an isothermal process, so delta U equals to 0. When delta U equals to 0, then Q is equals to minus W. It means amount of heat energy absorbed by the system is converted into work done. Already we have calculated this much work is done by the system by negative sign because it is expansion. So here the amount of heat absorbed is equals to positive, that is plus 955.5 joules. Let us know the fifth problem. Carbon monoxide is allowed to expand isothermally and reversibly from 10 meter cube to 20 meter cube at 300 Kelvin temperature, and work obtained is 4.754 kilojoules. Calculate the number of moles of carbon monoxide. Here we have to calculate number of moles of carbon dioxide which is undergoing isothermal reversible expansion from 10 meter cube to 20 meter cube. So initial volume is 10 meter cube, final volume is 20 meter cube, temperature is 300 Kelvin, work done is 4.754 kilojoules. Just to convert this into joules, it becomes 4754 joules. R is equals to 8.314 joules per Kelvin per mole. Just to substitute all the values by using this formula because it is isothermal and reversible. W 4754 minus 2.303, N 8.314, R value T 300 log 20 by 10, we can cut it here, it becomes log 2. Just substitute all the values, we are getting 4754 to minus 2.303, N 8.314, 300, log 2 value is 0.3010. So N is equals to this value divided by this value. By multiplication of these value we are getting 1728.98 and work done is this much. Just by dividing we are getting 2.7495 moles, or simply we can write here 2.75 moles. By this I am going to stop here. In the next video let us do some more problems for practice. Okay, thank you. By this I am going to conclude today's video. In the next video let us do some more problems.